All right, welcome to the Community Spotlight Podcast with my guest today, Sharon Hahn. Sharon, glad to have you back.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you because you're in a profession that I think is uplifting because you're trying to make homes look better inside with the decor. I know we call it Designs by Sharon, so obviously you do personal designs for people's, how would you describe, I guess, what you would do?
Custom is personalization.
Okay.
Because it's more than what you can just buy off the shelf when you go to the department store or any hot big box store. So.
Well, so when we were talking about customization in your type of business, I see in that business, home decor, I guess, would that be a correct way to state it?
Right, yeah. I specialize in window treatments, but
Okay.
it goes a little beyond that. I'm currently starting a process with a client that they're looking at. It's a historic home, so they're looking to keep things along with that historic vein. So as far as choosing carpeting and area rugs and paint colors for on the walls and just coordinating the whole scenario is part of what I do too.
Well, I would think that is very important to clientele because, some people, they start these projects and they say, I could do that myself. Why would I need somebody like Sharon Hahn? But you just kind of brought a good sales point up because you have to coordinate these things to make it look right in the end, correct?
Exactly, right. Yeah, the finished product is what you want to keep in sight through the whole process so that you don't stray from that at any point along the way.
Yeah, because you can end up, you buy this and then you find out later you've spent money on something and then now the color doesn't match or there's so many variables in this.
Right.
And
the color match is critical because that's where I can come into play and bring all of these things into the home in the client's lighting. And we can choose whether it's fabrics or shades, colors, paint colors, carpeting. It'll all work out in the end if we choose it all in the client's home because that lighting there is critical.
That is correct. Lighting, again, you could have fluorescent lighting. You could have sun just coming in, and some days it's a sunny day when you do an evaluation,
Sure.
and the next day it's typical Ohio November weather where it's gray. And so you're right. Lighting is a huge thing. I know just like you take a color like green, for some of us in a day, sometimes it looks gray.
Sure.
To some of us. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we would say that shade looks gray, and it's actually green.
Right.
So lighting is one variable in what you're doing. Now, you do in-home consultations. So you go to the home, you assess. Obviously, you ask people what they want. And
Sure.
This kind of brings something which I wanted to bring into this. We talk about trends in the industry. But really, it comes down to client preferences.
Absolutely. Trends come and go, but the client they're choosing something that they're going to live with for a while. It's an investment in their home. So oftentimes clients will ask me, well, what's new or what's up and coming? And well, I can give them all of that, but basically it just boils down to what the client is comfortable with.
Now, I'll share this with the listeners of the podcast. I've used your services, and I remember one of our first conversations, I said I don't like gray, and gray was kind of the in vogue, like you said, that was the thing.
Exactly, yes.
Preference, if you'd ask most people, they always had something gray in their house, and I believe my comment was to you is I live in Ohio. It's gray here at least half the year.
Right.
I don't want to, that's just, to me, I don't mind it on the outside of the house, but inside of my decor, I like something bright. I'm more like an earth tone type guy, and that's what you ended up doing. So again,
Right.
it's
Yep.
about the client's preference in your home, and it looks beautiful. And like you said, you did window treatments for me and a lot of different things in the home. But and I appreciated that. And I don't know if I could have done that all by myself, like you said. I could have, but it wouldn't have turned out as nice as it did. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I will agree with that.
All right, she's agreeing with it. Oh, she's really saying, she's not saying I have bad taste. It's just it's
No,
very easy.
I didn't say
I know
that
that.
at all.
I know, but I'm just having a little fun with you this morning
Sure.
on here.
Yes.
Now I understand one of the biggest trends now. It's we haven't seen it so much in this area, I don't believe, is motorization of
window treatments, whether it be shades, blinds, draperies, all those things you can add a motor to and just have your touch of your finger to control it, or you can talk to Alexa and say, Alexa, lower the blinds.
Wow, I don't know. Boy, that sounds a little bit too techie for me, but again, everybody likes certain things.
There are gadgets that some people just totally fall in love with, and so it's new to this area, but the industry has been trending this way for several years now.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is, I believe on a previous podcast I did with you, we got into this subject. And now also what we get into now, I would say, we're soon to be in autumn. Well, I guess we are technically on the calendar already autumn.
Exactly.
So you have seasonal changes of sometimes people want to change things in the house for the season.
Exactly. Just something as minimal as maybe a new valance, that just to bring another pop of color into the surroundings, or to change the pillows, toss pillows, things like that, to bring another dimension into the overall look. Yeah. Or another thing to think about is not everyone has the best in windows, so there could be some drafts to contend with. So a drapery with a heavier lining can help to address that, or there are different kinds of shades. The cellular shade comes to mind because that's designed to trap airflow.
I did not know that.
If you have air coming in your window, the cellular shade will help to keep that from coming into the room.
I'll tell you, there's just a lot to be thought about here. Again, now let's say, well, I'm listening to this podcast thus far, and I think I might be interested in calling Sharon. How do I get a hold of you?
Well, one thing right at the moment, I had a lightning strike several weeks ago, so I don't have my phones all back up. So if you call, there won't be a nice message, because I haven't figured, I'm not a techie person, so I haven't figured out how to re-record that message. But the number is 419-562-5666.
So you are a work in progress, and if you do call, you will eventually get Sharon at 419-562-5666. But, you know, I know what you're talking about. Sometimes the old recorders or a recorder, then you have an electrical strike, and then it's back to square one. So
exactly.
But you will actually probably get you live on the phone if that isn't
That's
working.
possible, yes.
Yes, that's very good. You have, I know, you just completed, I believe, your 30th year in this business. So.
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me just a couple other little things. Now, you actually kind of started out, didn't you? You've always sewn clothes.
Oh, my entire life.
Yeah,
my mother taught me to sew from little up. So, and so that's something that has stuck with me, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I used to make all of the clothes. I have two sons. I used to make some of their clothes too. So, but I haven't done anything like that since I started the business. It's a whole lot easier to sew straight lines than it is to match curves.
You're not interested in the tailoring business.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But
actually, at one time I did teach a tailoring course through the extension office.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's quite interesting. And there's a lot to that too.
Oh, yes.
But we'll save that for another podcast about that one there. Okay, Sharon, we've already established you're a veteran in this in your business, and I would just kind of close kind of on a personal note. I found it a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
And I would say to anyone out here that's even interested in getting in things designed and whatever, Sharon is very good, and she's very patient working with people, because she had to be to work with me. So I thank everyone for listening to the podcast. And again, my guest on the podcast this morning, the Community Spotlight podcast, was Sharon Hahn. She may be reached at 419-562-5666. Do you have anything on Facebook or any of that kind of stuff, or anything else? I'm just curious whether you do.
I do not.
Okay, so if you need her, call her, 419-562-5666. Got to get all my sixes in.
There you go.
Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
The best to you.